Thank you guys for being here today. Section 8 investing is like one of my favorite topics. I personally believe it's a gold mine and that everyone should do it. I'm totally um, invested in Section 8. Primary reason is the federal government pays your rent and it's recession proof. When we went through a recession, when we went through pandemic, even when lots of other tenants weren't paying, and there was a moratorium on not on evictions, Section 8 was still paying rent, and that was not too long ago, couple years ago, and so it's recession proof. And like I said, I just think it's a gold mine. I got introduced to Section 8 housing many years ago, many years ago. And I've got one of my properties almost paid for, and it's from the same Section 8 tenant. And almost all of my tenants tell me that they'll never move. So if you guys have questions along the way, just ask. You can either go to the chat or unmute yourself. I see Travis is in the house. What's up, Travis?
All is well. I had some questions for you.
Well, just unmute. Yeah, just whenever you have questions, just go ahead and stop me. This is not going to take long, you guys, maybe 30 minutes. And so, like I said, if you've got questions, let's go for it. So the overview, Section 8 is a federal program that has housing vouchers for low-income families. Tenants may pay a portion of the rent, and the government pays the rest directly to the landlord. Now, there's partial vouchers and there's full vouchers. I tend to always want to go with a full voucher if I can. That means that the federal government's paying the whole rent. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Benefits, and so we'll also talk about the benefits and challenges of Section 8. In the DMV area, those of you guys that are here in our area, DMV, it's plentiful. There's waiting lists. Some areas, some jurisdictions, the waiting list is like 5 years. And so I feel like there's a myth, and maybe that might be some questions that maybe Travis has or anybody else. But I think that there's a myth that the Section 8 tenant is going to tear up your property. And probably the myth is rightly so, but not anymore. I mean, we get the best tenants. I see Gwen is on here. She just found a tenant for me, and she's already in a couple months, seems like she's going to be a great tenant. And so they have really, honestly, pride and ownership. Like they take ownership of the house and they want to live a great life just like anybody else. And no more, the way Section 8 is ran now, there's an inspection every year. The tenant doesn't pass the inspection, they get kicked out the program. And they've got to go back on the waiting list, or they'll never be able to go on the waiting list. It's a great program. So they know what they need to do. Section 8 will do a inspection, will tell the landlord what they need to do, and will tell the tenant what they need to do. The tenant doesn't do it, they get kicked out the program. All right. So here's the program structure. Tenants receive a housing voucher. Vouchers cover, like I said, a portion or all of the rent, depending on their income. And so there's lots of tenants that get the whole thing, depending on their income, depending on the amount of children that they have, depending on, some come with disabilities. There's a lot of veterans that are in a voucher program. And so, like I said, I generally try to lean towards full vouchers, so I don't even have to worry about collecting from the tenants. But I do have a couple properties that they do pay, and they pay. They pay me some send in a check, some do a direct deposit, Zelle. They pay me in many different ways. Let's see, there might be a question. So here's a great question. I was going to get to this, but the question in the chat is, does Section 8 cover utility costs? And so that's a great question. So Section 8 gives you the option, gives the landlord the option of either paying the utilities for the tenant, and if so, they'll give you more. Like my most recent tenant, I think Section 8 is giving me $2,400. So they're giving me $2,400, and that includes me paying the utilities. If the tenant paid the utilities, it's somewhere around somewhere around $2,200. It's somewhere around $2,200. And so for this particular tenant, and this is the first time I've done it, I opted to go ahead and pay the utilities. I have some other colleagues that pay the utilities so they can get a higher amount. And so this time I'm trying it out. You can control the utilities. And so that's what I'm trying to do on this one. So that's a good question. Landlord requirements, property inspections for compliance with HUD. So there's a property inspection, there's a lease agreement. Also, there's a lead, if the house was built, was it before, somebody help me, before 78 or before 80? I'm old now, I can't remember. Somebody put in the chat. You have to have the house tested for lead. But those are honestly the only real 78. Oh, I was right. I'm not that old, Gwen. And so you do have to have the lead, a lead certificate. All right. Why invest in Section 8 housing? And I can tell you guys, and I just saw Dana hop in here. I can tell you guys that the number one reason why I like Section 8 housing, and it's not on here, but the turnover. There's little to no turnover. And what kills you in renting houses is the turnover. You don't want turnover. You want steady income. Whenever there's turnover, people either moving out or you have to evict them. Now you go a few months without any income. And then with turnover, you've got to, at the very least, do some type of renovations, even if it's just paint or flooring. My tenants who've been in my properties for a long time with no turnover, if there's something that goes wrong with the property, I have one on Dick Street in Northeast right now. There's some things going on, so we're quick to go over there and fix those things. But other than that, there's not a lot of work to do. But to that point, I look at each property as a business, as its own separate business, you guys. And so as soon as my tenants say there's something wrong, and generally there is, I try to get over there and fix those things, because they're paying your mortgage, like they're paying off your mortgage. Every year, these properties are appreciating. And the end result, you guys, the end result is that one day you're going to have a property with no mortgage and incredible cash flow, and is going to appreciate at a very high level. Going to appreciate a very, very high level. And so the one on Dick Street, as an example, I owe on that property probably around, I'll just round it up to about 200,000, but a little less than 200,000. And those row houses there are selling for almost 500,000. And I've had the same tenant in that property the whole time. So
So you already have equity in the house.
I did buy it. I did buy it with equity, but no, I've had this property for about 5 or 6 years now. And so it's gained a lot of equity. With the tenant, with really the federal government paying me every single month. And I think on that one, the tenant pays me a very small portion. And she's very diligent. Any type of request, I run over there and make sure, because that's my retirement. I look at all these properties as my retirement. And I don't really worry about I don't worry about getting paid. The federal government is paying me. And again, it's recession proof. So steady income, you guys, great steady income from the federal government, recession proof, high demand. In our area, there's a waiting list. DC, there's a waiting list. PG County, there's a waiting list. Baltimore, it's like a 5-year waiting list. And so you'll never be without tenants. Now, you do have to screen them, and I'll talk about that in a minute, because all tenants aren't created equally. And so you do have to screen them. But once you choose the right tenant, and you get to choose the tenant, it like I said earlier, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. Section 8 generally pays market rent. I will say that Section 8 pays either market rent or just below market rent. And then there's a community impact that you're helping provide housing for low-income families. Let's see, Lynn is on here. Hey, Lynn. Lynn, you want to unmute yourself?
Sure. I actually have a house in DC that I have a voucher client. They've been in there now for 3 years, and it warms my heart actually, because I really feel like their lives have been significantly impacted. Just, they were living in Southeast, and now they're in Northwest. They're going to better schools. She has 8 kids. And the
Wow.
oldest one is now in college. And, she's talking about going back to school. And I just feel like it's really, just transformed the whole generation.
So that did happen, but then it also benefited you as well,
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so do they have a full voucher or a partial voucher?
No, no, it's a partial. I mean, DC pays the majority. And she has to pay a portion. And she's typically a little late paying, but she always pays. Like, she'll pay in 2 parts. But I mean, the bulk of it is paid by DC.
And then how do you look at that property in terms of your financial future? Like, are you going to continue to rent it out? Do you have an exit strategy where, say, 5, 10 years from now, you'll have a ton of equity and you're going to sell it? Like, what's your strategy?
Right now I kind of feel committed. Um, and she just got an upgrade for a 5-bedroom. And so I actually have a meeting with somebody from housing to see how I would go about just adding a 5th bedroom and then getting the voucher approved for that. So right now, like you said, I consider it as steady, reliable income. I think, I mean, I was there recently. I will say that when she does leave, I'm definitely gonna have to do a fair amount of work.
You are? Okay.
Property, yeah. I mean, because there's definitely been wear and tear with 8 kids in the house.
Oh my goodness. But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's the property that I worked with you on with Derek.
What street was that? I don't remember. Is it
Tewksbury.
Tewksbury? Okay. And so you put a Section 8 tenant in there. Wow. And so you've gained a lot of equity over the years.
Definitely gained equity, yes. I mean, it's really hard, it's hard to, I mean, that area is variable, like, because some people have improved so much that, the value is much higher than, and they, one of the things I did have to deal with was my tax rate, because they were, I really felt like they were over valuing the property based on other people's improvements, whereas I didn't
Oh,
do that level of improvement, so I had
you fought them and got the tax rate lower?
yeah, but it doesn't go into effect until next year, but yes, I did.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I may come back to you. Did you have any other questions or
I
comments?
did. Well, I just had a question about Montgomery County because I've had such a good experience in DC that I have a property that just opened up in Silver Spring, which I'm like, do I want to sell it? But if I don't sell it, then I definitely want to have a Section 8, a voucher. Now they call them housing choice voucher recipient in the
How,
property.
how many bedrooms?
It's only 3, but I'm planning to add a 4th if I can attract, a voucher recipient. But I'm not right now. I haven't gotten any. I mean, they allow people to find housing themselves. I don't know that Montgomery County has any like way to connect voucher clients with housing. Like, I don't know that they're involved, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, they're involved. You just have to go to the Montgomery County Housing, I think it's called the Housing Authority. I would take a trip there. And I think they should have a list um, of or a place where you can put your property for the voucher holders to see.
So as you know, which you just mentioned, many times the vouchers are approved for a higher amount than what the market rent might be. So I have my property listed at what I know the voucher would pay for a 4-bedroom. And so, but because it's higher, that number is higher than other rents in the area, I'm not getting people responding because I'm really trying to market specifically to a voucher family.
And have you determined what Montgomery County's paying for like a 3 or 4 bedroom?
It depends on the zip code. So they have a list with the zip codes and what they'll pay in that zip code, corresponding to the number of bedrooms.
Okay. And you think that might be the issue? That the rent that you have is a little higher?
I matched it to the
Okay.
number of a 4-bedroom in the zip code. So I'm using that number, but it's higher probably than the market rent for a non-voucher. Because I'm really trying to attract a voucher, families specifically. But just advertising in Zillow and, hot pads and all that stuff, I don't know that they're seeing it. So that's why I was like, okay, where can I market?
I would also put it on the MLS.
On
I
the
would,
MLS?
yeah, I'd put on the MLS also.
Okay,
Yeah, just call me. We'll do it for you.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, just give me a call.
I appreciate it.
All right. Dana's saying so Dana went and did some work at one of my properties, and he said the tenant told him that she's never leaving. And so I think that's what we want. For us, as much as we do a great job for the community, our goal for ourselves personally is to build wealth. And I think they help us build wealth. It's a win-win. Like Lynn said, we're oftentimes we're putting families in better situations than they would ever have been because of the locations of the properties. But I'm a big advocate for Section 8 because it's just helping me build wealth in a way that I don't even have a property manager for these for my Section 8 rentals. I feel like Section 8 is the property manager because they come out every year and doing an inspection.
Oh, that's good.
Here's another question. How do you determine the rent amount? Are the rates established by Section 8? Yeah. or do the landlord provide comps? It's a little bit of both, but Section 8, they know, depending on the zip code, what they'll pay. And my experience has been, like I said earlier, they'll either pay market or the market rate rent or just slightly below. To be honest, or just slightly below. But I'm okay with that because of the lack of turnover. I know that I'm going to get my money. I know that the tenant's going to take care of the property, or else they're going to get kicked out of the program. And then oftentimes they're paying, basically they're paying for the house for you. DMV, you guys, we're in a very fortunate area for Section 8 housing because of the demand. I can't tell you, DC, Baltimore, I have Section 8 tenants in both, PG County, how great the demand is. The rental rates now, what makes Baltimore the #1 residential rental area in the United States is because their rents are either market rate or higher in Baltimore. So you can buy low and rent high in Baltimore. Now, you're not going to get the appreciation on the properties in Baltimore like you would like DC, Lynn mentioned Montgomery County, but you're going to get great tenants. You're going to cash flow on those properties, and they're going to take really good care of those properties for you. All right, so we talked about the benefits, guaranteed payments. Like I said, we went through a pandemic a few years ago, and the first of every month, you guys, first of every month, from then until now, and before, first of every month, it's in your account. That money is in your account. There's a strong tenant pool. Local assistant, there's a program, sorry about that. And like Lynn said, community revitalization. Key challenges of investing in Section 8 housing, strict inspection requirements. I actually like that. I actually like that there's strict inspection requirements. I want to know what I need to do to keep my house up. I want them to be strict because I want to make sure that my house is taken care of and that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to keep that property up, keep that business up. I look at it as a separate business. And again, Section 8 will tell the tenant what they need to do. But sometimes like the wear and tear. I had a property in another property in Landover where the Chevrolet, it actually was Chevrolet, where Section 8 came out and did an inspection, gave me a list of things to do, gave my tenant a list of things to do. The tenant called me and said, Mr. Bennett, I just don't have the money to do these things. Because the tenant had been such a great tenant, and I did not want to lose that tenant, not only did I do my list, I went ahead and did her list of things to do because she was just such a great tenant and I didn't want to lose her. So there are strict inspection requirements, but I like it. There is paperwork, but I don't think there's a lot of paperwork. Just kind of your normal paperwork that you've got to go through. There's help me with this, Gwen. There's the lease. So you got the lease information, the lead-based paint, the what else, Gwen?
The forms you get from Section 8, so they have the form that shows that they had what type of voucher they have, and then how much that they're going to be paid to pay. There's the one that it's like a checklist of the utilities, so who's paying what. But that's it. It's not a whole lot of extra forms, just a couple.
And then there's just forms that the tenant has to pay. I mean, has to fill out. And what I like about the program is, is it called a case manager? The tenant has like a case manager that they work with all along the way. And so again, to me, that's like another form of property management. And their case manager is like on top of things, the whole time. And so it's not, I like all of those things. Now, there's tenant screening. All tenants aren't created equal. I think I said that earlier. And so you've got to either get a good reference. I like to try to get the past landlord to give them a reference. I still run credit checks, credit reports, a criminal check for the tenant, a background. So I still do all of those things. And I would highly recommend you guys to do that as well. Potential for lower appreciation, only if you're buying properties in areas where the appreciation is low, like Baltimore. You'll get low appreciation. Lynn is asking, do you typically have them pay utilities? I typically do. This last one that I did about 2 or 3 months ago, I'm paying the utilities. I'm just trying it out. A lot of my colleagues, some of my colleagues are, they pay. I forget what it's called, but they get a fixed payment from the utility company. And you get more money if you pay the utilities. And so I'm trying it out, but typically I'll get them to pay the utilities. Financial considerations determined by, so the rent payments are determined by the local authorities. Tenants typically pay 30% of their income, with the government covering the rest. Property management, if you had a property management manager, and I do recommend that. I don't have one for mine. That's an additional cost. Let me bring Dana into the conversation a little bit. Dana, you with me? You with me, Dana? Dana's talking. I can't hear him. Let me know when you're on, Dana, because I don't think Dana is a big advocate for Section 8. Oh, he's saying he can't unmute himself. Let's see. Try it now, Dana. I don't know why he can't unmute himself. All right. All right, your property criteria for Section 8, you guys. Key features, you want to meet HUD's housing quality standards, safe and clean conditions with all essential systems working. Again, you've got to treat these houses. I like to say I treat my houses as if I'm going to be living in those properties. I renovate actually to that standard. And I'm not suggesting that you do, but I put granite in mine. I'll either put hardwood floors or LVP for the flooring, paint, backsplash, stainless steel appliances. I want my properties looking good, because if there is turnover, I don't want there to, if I put good quality products in my properties, I don't want there to be, I don't want there to be a high cost of cleaning that property up. I had one in Baltimore recently where I renovated it about 5 or 6 years ago. My Section 8 tenant moved out. She got a smaller voucher, and there was very little that I had to do to that property to get it back on the market because, I put, really, really good finishes into the property. So I suggest that. I don't want you guys to have the mindset that a voucher holder is going to be moving in. They're okay living in a substandard situation. That should not be your mindset. You want to renovate at a standard, in my opinion, where you would feel comfortable living there. And as much as there is a backlog, they can become very picky, and you want to make sure that they choose your property to the point where I have staged some of my properties. I've staged my properties, and I know Joseph Asamoah stages his properties. He'll do a complete renovation and stage his property, knowing that he's putting a Section 8 tenant in the property. Some of you guys know Joseph. And so that's what I would do. But ultimately, keep in mind, like I keep saying, that these properties are an investment for you. And it could be generational wealth. I mean, my hope is that I'm able to pass some of these properties to my daughter and for her to take over. Hopefully by then, the properties will have been paid for, and that goes to, I can pass that property to her and build generational wealth and teach her about, Section 8 and voucher holders. The inspection process, there's an initial inspection. Section 8 would prefer to have the properties vacant. So they want to have the properties vacant. But there is an initial inspection. There's an annual inspection that they do. And they want basically all the systems working. They want all the systems working. They don't want their clients, the voucher holders, living in a substandard, situation. They don't want that. And so they come by and make sure that the landlord is not a slumlord. And you don't want to be a slumlord. The federal government is paying for your property. And so you want to make sure you do a good job with taking care of the property. Working with local authorities, get to know them. Go down to, in DC, it's DC Housing Authority. Baltimore is the same thing. Whatever the jurisdiction is, look to see who the housing authority is and go down there. I talked to one of my agents today, who I went to his property in District Heights today. And I said, you just need to go down to the Section 8 office and get to know them there and get to know the process and get to know the people down there and just communicate. And they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. I do have a property in Annapolis where I bought this property in Annapolis, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, maybe longer than that. I bought the property as a flip. I was going to flip the property. I went into the property. It had about 4 feet of mold in the property. A real nice area of Annapolis. And so I got a hard money loan. I got a hard money loan to finance it. And I said, I'm just going to flip it. Got it for a great price, like $150,000, needed about $70,000. So 5-bedroom, 3 full bath. Rented it out. I mean, by the time I renovated the property, I said to myself, this might make for a great rental. And so I put it on the market to flip it as a sale, and I put it on the market to rent it out. And I got a voucher holder. An agent brought a voucher holder to the property. No, you know what I think I did? I think I went to the Anne Arundel Housing Authority, and we put all of our information there. And then we got a phone call. Someone wanted to rent it out. So I went ahead and rented it out to this family. And long story short, they've been my only tenants in that property. The property, again, is in a great location. It's by the Naval Academy. And I will probably, I keep saying to myself, I'm going to get them out and turn the property into an Airbnb, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean, the federal government is paying almost all of the rent there. And because it's Annapolis, they're paying a pretty high amount of rent. I've got a great cash flow on that property. Property is really appreciating at a high amount. And I'm extremely happy with this property. And so I say all that to say, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. You guys can do it. Just pick a property. Again, I highly recommend Section 8, primarily because of the lack of turnover and the guaranteed rent from the federal government. Also, on the Annapolis property, about 2 or 3 years ago, I was able to refinance, and I pulled out about $50,000 and used that $50,000 to buy another property. And so all the while, the government is paying my rent. And so that's something else that you can do. And of course, when I pulled out that $50,000, that's a non-taxable event. So I didn't have to pay any capital gain taxes on that $50,000. All right, how to get
Greg,
started?
I'm unmuted if it's not too late.
So this is Dana, you guys. He's one of our coaching students, and I'm putting you on the spot, Dana,
That's fine.
and you know where I'm going.
Yes, I know where you're going.
So Dana, I don't believe you've done Section 8. What Dana likes is the renting of rooms. And so Dana, you've rented rooms to veterans and other people. Having done that for a year or two now, what are your thoughts?
So, I'm kind of stuck on the room rentals, even though this year has been really rough. I've had a lot of vacancies this year. But if you can get it right, balance it out and get it right, it's really a good plan. But part of that is me, because I have a maintenance mind, because of what I do, I guess, for a living. I really like to be able to see what's going on inside my house, my properties. So with those, right now, I can go to my property and walk in the house if I want. No notice. And go in the common area. I'm not going to anybody's bedroom, and go in any common area I want. And I really like that. Plus, when it's going right, the profit is much more. So the thing is, what I'm counting this year as a year of learning, and hopefully in the coming year that financially things will be better. I don't have anything against the voucher program because of what I do for a living. I'm in homes all the time, and I see some really, really well-kept houses by voucher tenants. And yours being for all of your tenants, but that's the perfect example. The woman who I said told me today, I'm not leaving this house. I'm gonna be here forever. She takes really good care. You have a really great tenant there. She takes really good care of your house. And it seems like all of your tenants are that way, however you did that. So that's great. But it's just part of this room rental thing is part of it. It's just me and how I think.
Yeah, and see, I'm the exact opposite. I don't wanna, I don't wanna have to go to that property unless I have to. And some of
Okay.
my properties, I go maybe once a year, maybe once a year. And so that's my preference. You know, if they
Mhm.
call me and they need something, I'll run over there or like you. So Dana does plumbing and HVAC. So I sent him over to one of my properties. I got a couple in Baltimore where I'll just send a contractor to go fix things. But I only want to see the property maybe once a year. Um, and that's not good. You probably should see, if not twice a year, every quarter. Section 8 is going to inspect. And they know that, so they take good care of the property. And so Dana, you're not too worried about with the room rental, the management of it and the high turnover. I think you're focused on with the room rental, you're getting overall, you're getting a higher amount for the rent.
Yes.
Is that what you're focused on?
Yes, and getting that right, getting that thing smoothed out to where I'm not having as many turnovers. And there's a way to do it, but I'm just figuring that out.
Okay.
Yeah, and this year I'm just chalking up as a learning year for me. This year was
Yep.
pretty rough.
Somebody told you about a year or two ago not
Yeah,
to do that and to do Section 8. Somebody told you that.
a dark skinned fellow did mention that to me. With no hair. He did mention that to me, and I didn't take his advice. I may take his advice if I can't balance this thing out, then I'll definitely take his advice.
You
Greg,
know,
I would definitely take your advice.
for me, it's like you set it and forget it. Like you buy the property, you renovate it nicely, and you have renovated yours nicely. You get a great tenant, and you do background checks and make sure that they're going to be a great tenant, and you allow them to go and just live. You allow the federal government to pay you every month. If they have any issues, they know how to get a hold of you and you run over there and fix those things. But they just live, and oftentimes they're there forever. I mean, Joseph talks about a number of his properties where the same tenant or tenants have actually paid off the properties for him. And so I hate seeing you suffer with the turnover that you have. I hate seeing that.
Yeah, hopefully I can get that right. If it doesn't correct itself by a certain point in 2025, I will be converting over
Okay.
to the Section 8 voucher program.
Okay. All right. And I owe you a phone call. I'll call you after this meeting.
Okay, great. Great. Thanks.
All right. All right, you guys. Here's some questions. What are the specific HUD requirements for Section 8? HUD requires safety and habitable standards, including proper heating, plumbing, and electrical. So all the systems. Like you've got to have all the systems in place. How long does it take? It takes about 30 days. I think it takes about, could be shorter than that. I think the last one we did with Gwen was shorter than that, but Gwen was pushing the paperwork. But I will say the process takes about 30 days. And again, the sooner that you can get the inspector out there, the better. And then in most of our jurisdictions now, it is a requirement to have a rental license. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or not, but you have to have a rental license. I know in Baltimore, I know in PG County, DC, you have to have a rental license. And can you screen the Section 8 tenants? Yes. I had a tenant come and look at a property, and I just didn't get a good feeling from that tenant. Just didn't get a good feeling. So I didn't choose that tenant. I chose somebody else that she was a little chatty, but all of her references checked out, and she's still one of my tenants. Next steps. I would say the next steps, you guys, is to find a property. Like let's find a property in a great location. You can't go wrong anywhere in DC because you're going to get great appreciation. But to find a property, a lot of you guys are wholesaling properties. A lot of you guys are fixing and flipping properties. I want you to take that money and buy and hold. That's where you're going to build your wealth. That's where you're going to have another income stream for retirement. That's, and these properties are going to allow you to retire financially free. It's going to give you, each property gives you another stream of income. And then, it all adds up. You want to buy the properties right, pay them down, and then eventually pay them off, and then enjoy the fruits of your labor. And that's how you build wealth, through investing in real estate. I have some colleagues that buy 4-unit buildings and rent those out, rent each unit out. And so you kind of want to do the same thing. You want to do the same thing. But I want you to put yourself in a position where you can buy and hold. You want to put yourself in a position where you can buy and hold. For some of you guys, you can do it now. For others, it might take a year. But do that, and then allow Section 8 to be an option for you to build wealth, to rent out the properties. I think we've got a few questions here. Let me go to the chat. Rosalind is saying, generally, how long does it take to pay off the property you're renting out? It depends. I do like the question though. How long does it take to pay the property off? You're generally going to get a 30-year mortgage. Now, what I like to do, Rosalind, is pay at least an extra mortgage payment a year. And for some of my properties, not only do I make an extra payment, I'll take the cash flow and I'll put that every quarter if I don't need the money for repairs towards the mortgage. So it could take as little as 15 years. It just depends on how much extra you put towards the principal to get that mortgage paid off. Like I said, generally you're going to take on a 30-year mortgage, but if you pay extra every year, like at least one extra payment, that'll shorten the runway of you paying it off. How do you get a rental license? Every jurisdiction, I forget the name of the office. Gwen, do you know the name of the office in PG County? If you just Google like rental license PG County or rental license DC, it'll tell you. And it's very, very easy to get.
That's the PG County link, but depending on what county you want. So just Google rental license in Maryland, and then it'll come up with all the links for the different counties, the government links to go to. You can pick which county you want.
All right, I think that's it. Any other questions, you guys?
Yes, can I give you a call afterwards, Greg?
Yeah. If you have a question now, maybe the group can benefit from it. But you can still call me though.
Oh yeah, sure. I was gonna ask, generally, how much money because I'm working on so many deals now, fixed and flips deals, wholesale deals. I want to know generally like how much money I would need to put to the side to, go ahead and start investing in Section 8 house home.
So I would say in this day and age, you're going to need to put down about 20%. And so let's just say it's a property in Baltimore. And let's say that you're going to buy a property in Baltimore for 150,000. So 20% is 30,000. You're going to need about
30,000.
unless you can get some other type of financing. Now the 30,000, if you're wholesaling, that's one wholesale deal or two wholesale deals. Now, obviously you've got to, you got to check, make sure your credit is worthy.